return of Russ Grimm and Joe Jacoby, two all-pros offensive linemen, should help them a lot.
The Cleveland Browns have a healthy quarterback and one of the best in Bernie Kosar, and the Brown running game should be bolstered by the return of Kevin Mack.
Kevin Mack is back. He is the best runner the Cleveland Browns have, but he's been out parts of 6 games this season, including the last 2 weeks. But I tell you, I don't think the running game is going to decide today's game. We have the league's very best pass defense with Cleveland, led by cornerbacks Hanford, Dixon, and Frank Minifield, going against the NFL's second-rated passing attack in the league, led by Art Monk, Gary Clark, and Ricky Sanders. I think this game is going to be decided with the passing game, big plays downfield.
Marty Schottenheimer and his Browns are very tough against the pass, allowing their opponents to complete only 49%, one of 4 teams in the NFL under 50. And Joe Gibbs and his Redskins needing a win badly, but always tough playing here at home. The Browns have won the toss, and they will be receiving. This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Chip Miller puts the foot to the ball, and it'll be taken by Fontenot at the 7-yard line. It's a seam to the outside, across the 25 to the 29-yard line, a penalty marker down. 22 yards on the return by Fontenot. Let's check the penalty. Fred Wyant is the referee. Illegal block against the Cleveland Browns will set them back. Let's take a look at the starting Cleveland offensive lineup now, ranked 21st in the NFL, better in the passing game. Kosar is healthy, throwing well in practice this week, but he has only 6 touchdown passes this season. Byner is the leading rusher and receiver. What does the offensive line have to do today, Joe?
Well, they're going to have to protect that middle. They'll get a wide rush from both Manley and Man, so the guys right in the middle, Larry Williams, Raposi, and Fight, have to build up a wall in front of Kosar.
The ball placed back at the 13-yard line of the Browns for the first play of the game. Bernie Kosar now healthy. Kevin Mack is the lone setback. Kosar will put it up. And it is complete. Ernest Byner, who is the leading receiver for the Browns, makes his 40th catch of the season. It goes for 8 yards. Alvin Walton on the stop for the Redskins. Here's the Washington defensive line, starting with a 4-man front, Joe.
Yes, they're going to have to put pressure up the middle to get to Kosar. If Kosar has time to throw with his anticipation, they'll pick this secondary apart of Washington.
Among the linebackers, Coach Gibbs says Marshall gets better each week as he learns the scheme, and the secondary, hit hard by injury, Walton is the team's top tackler. 2nd and 1 for the Browns. Mack hit at the line of scrimmage and driven back. It'll depend on the spot of the football. Kevin Mack, on his return to the NFL Wars, got a rude greeting by the center of that Washington defense.
Well, we mentioned that interior line play. Here you see number 72, Dexter Manley, and Okowitz makes the penetration to get to make the contact in the backfield. That's the area that the Cleveland Brown offensive line has got to protect, right up the gut in the middle.
Actually lost a yard on the play. It'll set up a 3rd and 2 for Cleveland from their own 21-yard line. 5 defensive backs into the game for the Redskins. Opening series of the game at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. Kosar across the middle, complete to Brennan for the first down. Brian Brennan with a clutch reception, his 34th of the season. He's the 3rd leading Browns receiver, and he gives Cleveland the first down.
Well, Kosar gets some time. I'll tell you why. Number 44, Ernest Byner, picks up the blitz right now and affords Kosar the time to go to Brennan, who was one-on-one out there with Wilburn. Good play by Brennan and Kosar, but you got to give credit for that block right there to Byner.
It goes for 15 yards, and the Browns keep their drive going from their own 34. Good yardage across the 35 up to about the 39-yard line. They got about 5 yards on the play. Darrell Grant in the center of that defensive line finally made the tackle for the Redskins.
Well, if Cleveland can keep gaining yardage on their first down plays, I mean good yardage, 5 yards here, 9 yards the first time, they're going to have a successful offensive day. Washington has got to shut them down on first down and force them into obvious passing situations to be successful defensively.
Redskins come with their nickel defense at 2nd and 5. Kozar may be checking off to Mack. Good running room up the middle. Mack's got another first down up to the 49-yard line of the Browns. Alvin Walton made a saving tackle after a 10-yard gain.
Well, Coach Schottenheimer's been getting some heat over there in Cleveland for his play calling, but Kozar here appeared to call an audible, checked off, and Williams, number 70, does a good job of turning number 72, Dexter Manley, out on the left side of your screen right there to give Mack the huge hole. Kozar is brilliant at calling the audibles too, Tom.
What would have been the key that he saw there to go to the run?
I'm not sure who he was keying on right now because I don't know what play he had called previously.
Obviously, he spotted something, though, that was perfect. Mack has carried 3 times for 14 yards, and the Browns with a first down. Kozar drills it complete to Byner at the 40-yard line, and that'll be close to another Brown first down. Alvin Walton stopped Byner, but he did get just over 10 yards and another Cleveland first down on the play.
Yeah, that's the second time in a row that Kozar has gone to Ernest Byner. They move him out wide, and they get Alvin Walton, a strong safety, trying to cover Byner, and he's given Byner a lot of room right now. Number 40, Walton, he might climb up on Byner, start harassing him at the line of scrimmage. Don't give him that much room to get downfield to catch the pass.
Everyone in Cleveland associated with the Browns team was talking about the week that Kozar had in practice. He's been throwing the ball well. He looks very sharp here in the early going. From the Redskins 39. The Browns with a first down. Kozar calls timeout. Joey started to check off and then was running out of time on the play clock and calls the first time out of the game. It comes with 10:13 left in a scoreless first quarter. Cleveland Browns driving here in the first quarter. And Joe, the Washington Redskins playing that 4-3 defense, which seems to be the exclusive province of NFC teams these days.
Yes, but what that does to the Cleveland team, being from the AFC, it forces them to spend more time during the week practicing against a defense they're not familiar with. And Washington hoped that Cleveland, not being familiar with the 4-3, will have a tough time. So far, Cleveland's they've done a good job keeping the ball.
They've had it 4 minutes and 47 seconds off the opening kickoff, and they've been excellent on first down. Kozar will pass on first down. Complete. Brian Brennan makes another catch, just about a yard short of the first down marker. It'll go for 9 yards. Barry Wilburn wrestles him out and kept him from getting the first down.
Well, Kozar is going to feel some pressure from time to time today, and it's going to come from the outside, number 72, Dexter Manley, you see, trying to get inside of Paul Farron. Now, that's the rush that Farron has to be careful of because Manley has so much speed going upfield. Farron will kind of favor that way, and as you just saw, Manley can jump underneath and get to the quarterback.
First down plays continue to be powerful for the Browns. That one picked up 9. It's 2nd and 1, which gives Kozar a lot of flexibility. Kozar has not missed a pass yet. He's 4 for 4. This is a handoff to Mack. And Mack has another Cleveland first down. Week 13 of the NFL season. Let's check in some other scores now, or no scores as the case may be.
Yeah, but I like the home team in that Buffalo-Cincinnati game. That's a tough one. And well, but Pittsburgh-Kansas City game could be real ugly. I don't expect Chicago to lose. They're too good a team, and they're not going to get surprised this late in the season.
No score in this one either. We have 8 minutes, 52 seconds left in the first quarter. The Browns took the opening kickoff, started at their 13-yard line, and have advanced it now to the 29 of the Redskins. Byner got a couple of yards before he was thrown back again to the center of the Washington defense. Man, Butts, Grant, and Manley up front.
Big Darrell Grant, 77, made a good play closing down the run, the hole in the center of the field that time. Grant's he's not a tall player. He only goes about 6'1", and his advantage being that short is he can get up underneath those blockers and play them off. He gets good leverage.
Grant's 6'1", 275 pounds, 8 years out of Rice. That first down play was not as good as the Browns' others have been. 10th play of the drive coming up. Under pressure, steps up and completes the pass to Langhorne, and Reggie Langhorne gets up close to the first down marker as Kosar improvises in the face of a good rush from the Redskins, 9 or 10 yards before Alvin Walton gets the tackle.
But this is just what we mentioned earlier in the show, the center of that Cleveland Brown offensive line. Riccozzi and the two guards, Fike and Williams, must build a wall up front so Kosar can step up to avoid that rush. That's just what happened that time. The offensive line in the middle did a good job.
Langhorne struggling for yardage and got enough for the first down, a gain of 9 on the play.
Langhorne across the middle, just outrunning Darrell Green.
So the Browns with their 5th first down of this drive. Kosar sacked back at the 25-yard line. Dexter Manley led the charge of the Redskins. Manley gets him for a loss of 8. Manley, the leader of sacks for the Redskins, with his 9th of the season.
Well, you see what happened. Now, Manley set Paul Farron, the offensive tackle, number 74, up for this outside rush. A couple of plays previously, Manley beat him to the inside. Farron, number 74, is worried about that. This time, Manley just puts on the speed and beats him to the outside. Dexter says he's playing pretty well this year, but he hasn't been 100%. He's had some nagging injuries, but he figures he's done a pretty good job.
2nd and 18 coming up for the Cleveland Browns as Kosar lines up from the shotgun. Again, Chase from the pocket, lets it fly, incomplete. Too tall for the intended receiver, Clarence Weathers.
Yeah, Weathers was open that time. Of course, Kosar was forced out of the pocket by the blitzing Wilbur Marshall. And anytime you get Kosar running around out there, these defensive guys just lick their chops. I mean, he doesn't exactly look like Fred Astaire moving around there. But Kosar has great anticipation when to throw the ball. And here he gets it off cleanly, but just overthrows Weathers, who was open.
First misfire of the afternoon for Kosar. And now, with the 13th play of the drive coming up, we'll see if it's lucky for the Browns or not. 3 wide receivers in the game. The Redskins in their nickel defense on 3rd and 18. Kosar lobs it up for no one. Langhorne perhaps was the closest to it, but it falls incomplete. There's a penalty marker on the field. An offside call against the Redskins, and that's going to give Cleveland another chance.
That's going to give them another chance, and not only that, if Cleveland's not successful on this next play, they're going to be 5 yards closer for a field goal. Now, these are the kind of things Coach Gibbs says, hey, fellas, come on, open your eyes. Don't line up offsides. Don't beat the ball. Go on the football. We're hurting ourselves. That's what Coach Gibbs has been talking about. They've been hurting themselves this entire season, especially with the turnovers.
So given new life, the Browns will try to convert on 3rd and 13 from the Redskin 20. 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Kosar in the shotgun. Pressure again. Kosar steps up, completes it, and then Byner drops it. It'll be ruled incomplete. Byner turned to run at the 15-yard line and dropped the football. Clarence Vaughn covered him there. It'll be ruled as an incomplete pass.
Well, you see what's happening when Washington can force Cleveland into a passing situation. They're putting some pressure on Kosar. They're making him throw when he's not quite ready. Right here, Byner certainly should have made the catch, but hey, he wouldn't have picked up the first down. It was field goal time anyway.
Matt Barr is on to try the field goal for the Browns. He's hit 21 of 25 this season. 47 has been his longest. This one's going to be about 37 yards. Barr's kick. No good. He missed it wide to the right from 37 yards. The Browns with a long drive, but come up empty. No score, first quarter.
The snap is a good snap, a little high to Runninger, but he gets it down cleanly in good position, and Matt Barr hits the ball cleanly. He didn't slip at all, but he left it out to the right just a little bit, as you can see by his reaction.
So Barr, who is having a good year, misfires from 37 yards out, and the Browns, who had the ball nearly 9 minutes, come away with 0 points.
Hey, I'm excited to see Rippon play now. This boy was hot earlier in the season. Let's see if he still has that touch.
All right, he's on the field with that Redskin offense. First down from their own 20. And they'll give the ball on the run first time out of the gate to Jamie Morris, the rookie out of Michigan, who gets the start today. And Clay Matthews pounces on him for a gain of about a yard. Here's the starting offense for the Washington Redskins. Rippon would be the top-rated quarterback in the NFL if he had enough passing attempts to qualify. And as we pointed out, not the only new face in the backfield. Jamie Morris from Michigan, the rookie, starts at running back. And what about the offensive line? The Hogs return, Joe.
They've been inconsistent, but number 68 and number 66, Grimm and Jacoby, are back, so they should play a much better game.
Jamie Morris, the little guy, only 5'7", drew a big crowd on the first play, got 2 yards. The ball again. Cuts back. Nice move by Morris. He's got a Redskin first down just short of the 35-yard line. Felix Wright made a saving tackle, but Morris squirted free for 13 yards.
Just good blocking right there in the interior of the line. Morris is able to hide behind those big blockers, then cut back, and Golick can't get back over there, number 79, and just a huge hole up front.
Morris said he was excited and a little nervous about starting the game today. He's the younger brother of Joe Morris of the New York Giants, who he said really was his first coach. Has helped him since he first took up the game of football. Morris again, third straight carry. Another good gain. He's to the 40 and beyond to the 41. And again, Felix Wright is called on to make the stop, but Morris picked up 6. Here's a look at that Cleveland defense. 4th in the NFL, number 1 against the pass. Pro Bowler Golick anchors the defensive line. And some pretty good linebackers on this Brown squad, Joe.
Oh, they have one of the best group of linebackers in the entire league. But on that last play, 51 Eddie Johnson was blown about 7 yards deep.
Secondary of the Browns features the Pro Bowl corners, Dixon and Minifield. Minifield having his best season. 2nd and 3 for Washington. Morris again. Stopped close to the first down. Bob Golick, the nose tackle, in on the stop as Morris has carried the ball every offensive play for the Redskins so far. There's some early scores, Joe.
Yeah, I kind of figured Miami might outscore the Jets today. Neither team's been playing well. Of course, it's 2 good defensive teams in Buffalo and Cincinnati.
Well, a big third down play coming up. Third down and less than a yard to go for the Washington Redskins. Morris, who has carried the ball every play, lined up as the tailback in the I formation. Reggie Branch is the blocking back. And will be close to the first down. I don't know if he got it or not. Morris once again asked to carry the mail, and Cleveland was ready for him.
Well, this is the thing that's been hurting the Redskins. They get in short yardage situation, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Over the last few weeks, they haven't been able to get off the ball and get that yardage when they need it. I don't know, maybe their veteran offensive line, they are a veteran line, they're wily, they're smart. Maybe they're not getting off the ball as quickly as they used to get off the ball.
So Morris comes up short on the third down attempt. No gain on the play. And Greg Coleman in punt formation for the Redskins. There's Coleman, 12-year veteran out of Florida A&M. And Gerald McNeil, the Ice Cube, deep for Cleveland. Line drive kick from Coleman. Backs McNeil up to the 10. Picks his way forward across the 15 to about the 17-yard line. 45-yard punt, 5 yards on the return, still no score. Coming up next here on NBC, golf action, the Skins game. And quite an opening to the Skins game yesterday, Joe. I think Floyd took down 90,000 on the first day of action. Floyd, Nicholas, Trevino, and Strange, and a pretty good payday.
Hey, Floyd says he's been in a lot of tournaments and he's been close many times, but he's never felt the nervousness as he has in this tournament and a couple of putts that he had yesterday.
How can we get you in that Skins game?
Oh, I'd love to be there, even as a caddy. Let me caddy for Ray or Big Jack, one of those guys.
Those are off to a good start for the Browns. Browns took the ball on their own 13 to start the game, but came away empty after holding it for nearly 9 minutes. First down here at the 17. Pass complete in the flat to Clarence Weathers, who is out of bounds after a short gain. Let's go to Bob Costas for an update.
All right, Tom, big game in Cincinnati. The Bengals' first possession against the Bills. Long drive. Now they're at the 1. 4th and goal. Ickey Woods gets the call, and he's pushed back. A combination of Scott Radisek and Cornelius Bennett on the tackle. The Bills take over on downs. Still no score in the first. Back to Tom and Joe.
All right, Bob, no score here either with 2:14 left in the first. A similar situation. The Browns drove down the field. Didn't score any points as they missed a field goal. 2nd and 4 coming up for Cleveland here from their own 23-yard line. Ozar looked one way, then scrambles the other and throws it left-handed, didn't he? Incomplete, intended for Kevin Mack. The master of improvisation, Bernie Kosar, gets a little pat from man.
That was quite a play by Kosar, but what happened is Kosar got fooled. He wanted to throw to the right. Right now, you see he's ready to go, but Washington rolled that way. They double covered his receiver, and now he gets that left-handed pass off, and I don't think we'll be seeing too many more of those left-handed shots. He's not exactly Kenny Stabler.
Do they have a category for incomplete left-handed passes?
Sure, they put an asterisk up there, you know. That was a lefty.
3rd and 4 for Cleveland. They've converted only 1 of 2 third downs so far. Remember that first drive, they got great gains on first down. Didn't have many third downs. Kosar whips it complete. That's another Brown first down across the 40 as Langhorne picks up 20 yards on the play, and Kosar and Langhorne hook up for a big Brown first down.
Once again, the key is the protection that Kosar gets right here. Here you see Langhorne on Clarence Bond, number 31. He'll fight and then jump to the inside. Watch him get inside position right here, and now he's wide open crossing that short, shallow zone area. Good protection up front, too, Tom, from this offensive line. Once again, you see they keep that middle right there toward the line of scrimmage. They can't get into Kosar's face.
And he is so accurate. Given time, he's going to complete it. He's hitting 56% of his passes on the season. Well, he misfired on that one. Kevin Mack in the flat. Overshot by Kosar. Let's go back to Bob Costas.
All right, Tom, let's take a look at what happened moments ago at the Meadowlands. Dan Marino looking for Freddie Banks, guarded by John Booty, able to shake that booty for the touchdown, and the game is tied at 7 at the Meadowlands. Thomas.
That was weak, Bob, weak. No score here at RFK, 1:23 left. He just had to get that in.
Shake that booty.
Kosar lofts it up over the head of Ernest Byner, who made a cut and come back for the football, and looked like Kosar was expecting him to continue down the sideline.
Sure, but Byner has been harassed now. He had Clarence Vaughn, a different coverage man on him, number 31, and he's playing Byner much tighter than Walton was earlier. Now he gets a little hand on that number 44 right there in the back and pulls it a bit, but no harm, no foul. I guess that's what the official says. He couldn't have caught the pass anyway.
Pass was uncatchable. 3rd and 10 here for Cleveland. The ball at their own 43-yard line. 1:19 left in the quarter. No score. Flag down. Kosar's got a man wide open. Brennan down to the 20-yard line, but they're going to bring it back. I believe illegal procedure against the Cleveland Browns. Darrell Green finally chased down Brennan. 37 yards, but it's going to be wiped out.
Illegal motion, number 74.
Hey, I think the big thing about this play is not necessarily the penalty bringing it back, but to me, Brian Brennan, not known for his speed, able to race past Green. Darrell Green, the fastest man, certainly one of them in the NFL. You talk about some sneaky speed. There's Farron, who was called for the penalty, number 74 on the left side of your screen. He just moves a little early. Protection is good. And watch, here's Brennan outrunning Darrell Green. Hello.
Headlines. Well, Green has been bothered by a gimpy knee, and his speed is not up to par, but still, you would think that it would be impossible for Brennan to get behind him. 3rd and long here for Kosar. Kosar pumps once and then is buried by the Redskin rush. 2nd sack of the day for Washington. It's back to the 25-yard line. Dean Hamill, 4 years out of Tulsa, leading the charge for the Skins.
Well, you got to give credit downfield to Darrell Green that time and Wilburn, the cornerbacks. Here's number 72, Dexter Manley going inside, and Hamill, 78, gets to the outside, and he'll finally get back there to Kosar. But you see, Kosar had time. He just couldn't get to an open receiver. Good coverage.
So Runniger on to punt for the Cleveland Browns, and let's go with a good one. Clark takes it back at about the 25-yard line and is spun down at the 31. So the Redskins hold, get a 48-yard punt, 6 yards on the return, still no score. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath at RFK Stadium. Let's check the scores. The Bengals have scored on that tough Buffalo defense. Philadelphia leading, the Jets and the Dolphins tied up. And you see the other scores. First down here for the Washington Redskins from their 33-yard line. Rippon's first pass. One hops Art Monk and incomplete. Frank Minifield covering Monk that time as Rippon's first pass comes up a little short. Is that just nerves, Joe?
I would guess that it's just nerves. It's a beautiful day to pass the football. I mean, there isn't any wind. The temperature is so nice. There's a little humidity in the air. The quarterback can get a good grip on the ball. I'd guess that was a little bit of nerves right now. And there's Kevin Mack getting examined by the trainer.
Well, Mack missed the last 2 games, just back in the starting lineup today, but looking at his right arm. 2nd and 10 for the Redskins. 55 seconds left in the first quarter, no score. Morris, tough yardage to the 35, got a couple. David Grayson made the tackle for the Cleveland Browns, one of the outside linebackers.
Well, Grimm, 68 in the top of your screen, and Mark May, 73, pulled to lead through there, but this time that Cleveland defensive front just stuffs the hole. And what's been the problem, or what the problem is Washington has now, is they have a long yardage, definite passing situation.
Jeff Bostic is the injured Redskin, the starting center. 9 years out of Clemson. And how disruptive is it, Joe, to have your center go down? The quarterback has got to take the exchange from a brand new man.
That's right. It's different than losing another lineman. You're used to that feel, the shape of the butt of the center. I mean, these guys are different centers. They have different back sides, and the quarterback gets used to the one he's working with. So what will happen if Bostic has to leave the game? The backup center and Rippon should be trying to take some snaps right now, in my opinion, and Rippon's not going to be quite as comfortable under the replacement center, Raleigh McKenzie, number 63.
Well, it gives us a chance to look forward to the windup of the college football season, and what a game in the Fiesta Bowl for the national championship. It's going to be Notre Dame against West Virginia, 2 unbeaten teams, and Miami waiting in the wings. They may be the best in college football. They'll take on Nebraska. The Fiesta Bowl and the Orange Bowl coming your way January 2nd here on NBC, and the bowl games will start with the Hall of Fame Bowl, LSU and Syracuse. So a full menu of college football action for you January 2nd here on NBC, when we'll decide the national championship.
Coach Gibbs certainly worried about Bostic, his center. He pointed out that last week Bostic went against probably the best nose tackle in the game up there at San Francisco, and Michael Carter, and Bostic just played beautifully. To lose your center, especially a good one, it could be devastating to their running game.
Bostic in some obvious pain. And that offensive line has been riddled by injuries, and the only name missing there is Jeff Bostic, who goes down here.
Not anymore.
Well, a reminder to our viewers, we will be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game. That comes up at the conclusion of the contest.
The play that's put Washington in a bind here is that first down incomplete pass by Ripon. You know, these plays that the quarterbacks have a chance to make successful when your receiver's wide open and the quarterback's not harassed. You've got to make those plays. Receiver was open and Ripon just misfired. Put him in a tough situation now.
Washington has had the ball for 7 plays. 6 of them have been rushes by Morris. McKenzie is the center in there, and Ripon facing a 3rd and 8. Good protection. Pass is complete. Sanders makes the catch. Chased down by Grayson, but 12 yards and a Redskin first down.
Excellent pass protection. Excellent poise by this young man, Mark Ripon. He stood tall back there and waited until a receiver came open. The receiver will be coming from left to right. But look at that protection. There's not a soul around Ripon. He has time to reload and get it off to Sanders for the good gainer.
So the Redskins with a little momentum as the first quarter comes to an end. The Redskins and the Browns scoreless. All right, back at RFK Stadium. I like that cigar. I'm going to try to get that cigar.
That was a dead giveaway. You see, I don't smoke cigars.
You had a quarterback-to-quarterback talk with Mark Ripon yesterday, and you were a little shocked at something he said.
Yeah, I asked Ripon what his favorite play was or if he had any favorite pass plays, and he told me it was a play-action pass. That surprises me because of the play action, the quarterback has to turn his back to the defense and you can't read coverage. But he's had success with play action, and that's a good reason for them to be his favorite play.
Bostic has bruised ribs, unlikely to return for this game. Redskins with a first down. Here's Morris carrying for the 7th time today. No, it's a pass. There's the play action pass, and it goes incomplete, and Ripon is 0 for 2.
Yeah, he's 0 for 2, but that's one time not reading the defense. He had one-on-one coverage downfield, and he could have gotten the ball off. The protection was very good that time. His underneath receivers were covered and didn't get anything out of it. Time of possession is certainly in favor of the Browns, but what do we have? A 0-0 score, huh?
0-0, as a matter of fact. And David Neal, our producer, Andy Rosenberg, our director, we're going to get even with him for that shot a minute ago. We'll be plotting up here at halftime and how we're going to get even. From the 46, 2nd and 10. Nickel defense for the Browns. Keep it on the ground and stop for no gain is Jamie Morris. Actually, it was Oliphant. There's a flag on the play. Mike Oliphant carrying the ball for the Redskins.
Number 83, illegal block in the back.
So Ricky Sanders called for the illegal block in the back. Update on the scores, and the Cardinals have tied the Eagles. Battle of the Birds.
Cliff Stout's good, Tom. If he can get hot, they'll give Philadelphia a tough battle over there.
Chicago clinging to that 7-0 lead.
Atlanta's won some big games this year out there at the Raiders up at San Francisco, so they should handle Tampa Bay.
They can surprise you, can't they? There's Ripon calling his play. 2 years out of Washington State. He had not played in an NFL game prior to this season. He'd been on injured reserve all his rookie year. He filled in admirably for Doug Williams earlier this year. 2nd and 18. Ripon. Pass is complete to Oliphant. Dodges one tackler, keeps the legs going, and gets it to the 45-yard line of the Browns. Only a couple of yards short of the first down. It goes for 17 before Brian Washington can wrestle him down.
Mike Oliphant, just a rookie out of Puget Sound, is very good at catching the ball and running with it afterwards. Good protection, and Ripon smartly comes off to his check receiver, Oliphant. Now watch this move right here. This is what they like about Oliphant. They miss Calvin Bryant in this phase of the game, and Oliphant's the man that can give them the lift. One more look at the pass protection, which is very good.
7th reception of the season for Oliphant, 3rd-round draft choice. Ripon again across the middle and incomplete. It would have been enough for the first down, intended for Gary Clark, but the pass too high. And the Redskins will have to punt.
Once again, the kind of play a quarterback has to make for you to be a winner. He has time. He has a receiver open. And actually, I think Gary Clark would catch that pass 9 times out of 10 or more often than that. That was a very catchable pass. He should have had it.
So the Redskin punter, Greg Coleman, is on the field. His first one covered 45 yards. And McNeil standing back inside his 10. 13.5 minutes left in the first half. No score. Good high punt from Coleman. McNeil calls for a fair catch and takes it at the 11. So the Browns are backed up after a 43-yard punt from Coleman. We'll be right back. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. 13-19 left in the second quarter. No score. The Browns and the Redskins. Cleveland with a first down at its own 11. Kevin Mack pounds straight ahead, just short of the 15-yard line. Let's go back to NFL Live now and check in with punster Bob Costas.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond. We told you about Buffalo's goal line stand, but the Bengals came right back on their next possession. Here's James Brooks, 4-yard sweep, 12th touchdown of the year. Then they get the ball back. Here's Esiason rolling left. He hits Brooks, speeds past the linebacker. Another touchdown for Brooks. 25th touchdown pass of the year for Esiason. Tops in the league. Back to RFK.
Bad news for Cleveland Brown fans as the Bengals take a 14-0 lead. Browns in the skin, scoreless. 12:40 left in the second quarter. 2nd and 6 for the Cleveland Browns. Kosar dumps it short, complete to Byner, who burrows ahead to the 20-yard line, short of the first down. Neil Olkowitz pins him right at the 20.
Well, I want to tell you something. Wilbur Marshall ends up making a tackle on his play, but what Marshall does first is he takes away the deep pass right now to Langhorne. He gets back in that zone. Now he comes up and makes the tackle short of the first down. Marshall's been playing well. I mean, he's been a good find. He's made more first hits for this defense than any other player on the team. He's made more tackles this season than he has in any of his other seasons. He's having a good first year with the new defense.
And plenty of incentive. He's a rich young man now.
That helps.
3rd and 1 for the Browns from their own 20-yard line. Mack, he's got the first down. He falls forward. Got a couple of yards, enough to keep the drive going for the Cleveland Browns. Dean Hamill made the stop for the Redskins.
Well, the offensive line, defensive line, that's where the games are usually won and lost. On the right side, you see Dan Fike, 69, and 63, the right tackle, Cody Rise, that open up that hole right now for Mack. These are the guys that they do the work right there in the pits. And quarterbacks, halfbacks, wide receivers, believe me, folks, we all appreciate the work those linemen do.
Or don't do, as the case may be. In fact, Bernie Kosar bought his offensive linemen each a case of champagne to show his appreciation. Byner is in motion. Kosar hits Byner in the flat. Collision at the 26-yard line, and Byner is stopped there. Went for 5 yards on the play as Barry Wilburn came up to stop Byner after the short completion. Alvin Walton was there too.
Smart decision by Kosar to go to Byner that time. Once again, his receiver downfield was covered, and Kosar sees that. He wants to get the ball downfield to his deep receiver, but it's not there. So, all right, Bernie says, I'll come to the short guy. Now we have some rain, and this very well could affect the passing game. The ball should get slick.
2nd down for Kosar. Straight ahead, carries Redskins with him to the 35-yard line. A Brown first down. Neil Olkowitz finally tied his legs up to get him down with help from Darrell Grant.
Yeah, but when you see a big back break through a hole that cleanly, you know one of the big boys or two of them up front did a job. Guard number 70, Larry Williams, and center Riccozzi open up a huge hole right there in the middle left side of the line. And Olkowitz doesn't like to see that big fullback coming clean. I can promise you that, folks.
In fact, Mack with those big shoulder pads has an intimidating presence as he comes at you, like a big Brahma bull. The rain coming down harder now. 1st and 10, Browns at the 34. Kozar lofts it up. Fontenot can't get there. Wilbur Marshall was coming that time, Joe, but the Browns reacted and stopped him, picked him up.
And the Browns are doing a good job with their play selection. Here, number 58 tries to get to the passer, but they'll have nothing of it. That's Ricky Bolton, number 77, keeping him out of there. Kozar once again getting time. Now he has isolation over there, and Alvin Walton, a strong safety with Langhorne. So Bernie is hoping. He said, come on, Langhorne, get to it, buddy. You can beat that strong safety. He did beat him, but the pass was off its mark.
2nd and 10. Kozar, look at the rain on his helmet. Mack. Good spin move by Mack. Shakes another tackler. Still going. He's got a first down. Great run by Kevin Mack. It went for 12 yards.
That's what the Cleveland Browns have been missing, folks. That big back right there, Kevin Mack, their best runner. You may not always get a clean hole, but if you have a back that's this strong, he can bounce off tacklers, run through them, through Olkowitz's tackle. He sheds another one, and Alvin Walton, number 40, can't make the play. That's just terrific running.
Barry Wilburn finally was able to get him to the ground.
You could figure that's terrific running, Tom, or you could say it's poor tackling. I don't know which. There, number 58, Wilbur Marshall, one of the best, misses a tackle.
Mack has carried 8 times for 40 yards, averaging 5 yards a pop. Kozar sidearms it complete to the 40-yard line. Fontenot is spun down there after making the first down grab. Todd Bowles able to stop him, but 15 yards, and Kozar has the game going now, hitting on the runs to Mack and the passes, that time to Fontenot.
14-0 Cincinnati. I know the home field is an advantage in both of these teams, Cincinnati, Buffalo. They'd love to have that advantage throughout the playoffs.
And here at RFK, 0-0, 7:55 remaining in the second quarter. Browns have a first down at the Washington 39-yard line. Kozar again, good protection. Byner has it, short gain inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. Neil Olkowitz stopped him, a gain of 5.
Once again, Kozar gets very good blocking back there. He couldn't get this ball out to Langhorne as much as he wanted to. You see, he doesn't quite get away from the defender right here. I'd say that could be construed as defensive holding by Barry Wilburn, but once again, it went undetected by the official.
There's Bernie Kozar, who comes off a great game against Pittsburgh a week ago, his best performance since returning from injury. Off to a good start today. 2nd and 5. There's the blitz, and Kozar is spun down. 3rd sack of the day for the Redskins. Breaking through was Mel Kaufman, one of the linebackers. He came on the blitz and got Kozar for a 9-yard loss. The 3rd quarterback sack.
Well, Washington hasn't been getting the kind of pressure they want, and here you see number 55 blitzing to the inside. They figure they've got to send those linebackers to get more pressure back there on Kozar, and that's just what happened that time. Mel Kaufman came clean and got to Kozar before he could get it off.
Well, Joe Gibbs said the big play had been missing from his team, and Kaufman celebrates after that sack as the defense comes up with a big play. Sets Cleveland back to a 3rd and 14. Kozar down again. 4th sack for the Redskins. Wilbur Marshall was first to arrive on the scene, number 58. That one went for -11.
Marshall, and then he gets some help from Dean Hamill, number 78 also. You see the outside pressure. Now Kozar would like to step up, but he can't go anywhere up front because Dean Hamill, number 68, has beaten the offensive lineman there.
Here's the punt. Taken right at the sideline and out of bounds at about the 13 or 14-yard line. So the Redskins will have a lot of territory to cover. Scoreless in the second. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League and intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. This game the property of the NFL, the Washington Redskins and Cleveland Browns, all rights reserved. Rippon looks one way, fires the other, and it's complete to the 20-yard line. He got 7 yards on the play as Craig McEwen gathered in the pass from Rippon.
Rippon impresses me with his calmness back there in the pocket. His first receiver is covered, but he doesn't throw the ball. He looks for a secondary receiver. He's cool enough to come to him. Right now, what Rippon is having a problem with, or what the Redskins may have a problem with, is this offensive line. Mark May has left the game with an injury. The right guard, Bostic, the center, is out of the game. So we have 2 new guys in the game, McKenzie and R.C. Thielman. And this offensive line is continuing to get hurt and play inconsistently. We'll be right back after these words.
Craig McEwen, who made that reception a little shaken up, being tested over on the Redskins sideline. Meanwhile, number 73, Mark May, with a bruised left leg, is back in the game. 2nd and 3. Washington has rushed the ball 7 times, passed 6. This one on the ground. Morris hit just as he received the handoff and stopped for no gain. Jamie Morris has found the going a little tough today. The Cleveland defense ready for him, led by David Grayson.
Well, David Grayson, the linebacker that time, gets across the line of scrimmage. Here you see 73 blocking on Golick, the nose tackle. May does a good job. Came back from the x-rays. They were negative, so he's all right. But Dave Grayson, the linebacker for Cleveland, made a good play that time, stuffing the run.
Jamie Morris has carried 7 times for 26 yards. 3rd and 4 coming up for the Browns. The ball at the, say for the Redskins, 3rd and 4 for the Redskins at their own 19. Rippon's pass complete. The catch made by Clark, and Gary Clark has a first down out to the 35-yard line. Hanford Dixon finally made the stop after a 16-yard gain.
Well, Clark has a lot of speed. He's the quickest of the receivers anyway, and he just outruns Stephen Braggs, number 36. Here to the left of your screen, perfect shot right now. I mean, the ball was right on target by Rippon, and a good gainer.
Gary Clark, who played in the Pro Bowl the last 2 years, was the 3rd leading receiver in all of the NFL a year ago. First catch of the game today. And he has 2 in a row. Clark takes this one. He got 7 or 8 yards on the play. Again, Hanford Dixon on the tackle for Cleveland with David Grayson helping out. It goes for 8. Still 14-0. The Bengals over the Bills.
Kansas City got on the board against Pittsburgh.
And Atlanta still with a field goal lead. Here in the rain at RFK Stadium, 0-0. 3:50 remaining in the first half. Rippon hands to Morris. Morris again hit and dropped at the 40-yard line. Mike Johnson arrived about the same time as the football, and Morris gets very little.
Well, Cleveland's forcing Washington into a passing situation again. Mike Johnson, the leading tackler on this Cleveland bunch, will just fight through there and not give Morris really a chance to get going. Jamie, he thought he saw a hole, but Johnson was right there. You know, with this rain right now, I got to believe it's going to affect the defense a little bit. The pass rush, they won't be able to come out of the blocks as quickly. And these quarterbacks, they play such a tight bump and run, they're liable to slip and fall. It's wet out there.
3rd and 2. The Redskins not able to rush the ball today. So Rippon, oh, great catch, then it comes loose, incomplete. I thought Clark had it for a moment as he made a diving stab at it, but he couldn't hold on. He had beaten Will Hill and Stephen Braggs on the play.
Well, Rippon gets pretty good protection and comes to the right receiver. I'll tell you, that is good coverage by Stephen Braggs right now. That ball had to be just right, and it was a good effort by Clark, but I'd have to give Braggs the credit for good coverage on that play.
4th down, and Greg Coleman on the field to punt. Coleman averaging 40 yards a kick. He'll try this one in the rain. And McNeil will try to field it in the showers back at the 20. 3 minutes left in the second quarter. Another good kick by Coleman. McNeil at the 21. it outside. Pushed out of bounds. They'll mark it just short of the 30-yard line. A 38-yard punt and a 9-yard return by McNeil. Well, this is an interconference game, and over the years, the AFC holding the edge, which has to make you proud, Joe.
Well, I think it makes Commissioner Rozelle even prouder. You know, they've been shooting for parity in the league, and they wanted an even kill for the fans. You know, no dominant teams, and that's what we're seeing. We don't have a dominant conference. We've had a couple of dominant Super Bowl winners the last few years. This magic number we see, 3, means that if the AFC wins 3 more games, that'll be 27 victories, and that's at least 500 for the season. They can't lose to the NFC conference.
This is the first time Cleveland has played at RFK Stadium since 1971, and they're getting a pretty good shower for their efforts here. There's Kozar in that straddle lineup under the center that he has made so familiar. Kozar shoots it complete over on the sideline, and the catch made by Ozzie Newsome. Newsome keeps his string alive. He's now made a catch in 140 straight games, which is second in the NFL behind Steve Largent. It went for 5 yards, but Newsome has the catch and keeps the string going.
Well, there's not a lot to this pattern. Ozzie goes over there to the sideline, and if somebody doesn't come up on him, which they don't, Kozar finds him smartly. Ozzie and I both were crying a little bit last night since our alma mater, Alabama, took it on the chin from Auburn.
Well, he wants the Super Bowl ring that you have on your finger, Joe.
And it is a thrill, that's for sure.
All-time leading pass-catching tight end in NFL history. Draw play. Mack stumbles, gets up again, and is across the 40. He might have gotten the first down on second effort, about 6 yards on the play.
You see, that's the difference between professional running backs and pretty good running backs who don't quite make it. Mack has a hole. He gets tripped up and falls down, but he doesn't quit there. He gets up, he fights for more yardage, and by gosh, he finds the first down marker. Good second and third effort by Mack.
And another illustration of what he means to this football team. Back in action today after missing 2 games, the last 2. Approaching the 2-minute warning here in a scoreless first half. I don't think the Browns will get the play off. Yes, they do. And it is Mack. Straight up the middle to midfield and close to another first down. 9 yards. It'll be just about a foot short of the first down. 1:57 left in the first half. The Redskins and the Browns locked in a scoreless tie.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ahmad Rashad in New York, and in Cincinnati, the Bengals trying to improve their record to 10-3, and they've been all over the Buffalo Bills. Here, Jim Kelly trying to hit Chris Burkett. It's intercepted by Ricky Dixon, his first of the season. And Cincinnati 14-0 in the second quarter. It's been all Cincinnati.
So the Bengals having a big game at Riverfront, and the Cleveland Brown fans hate to hear that. And their Brownies right now tied with the Redskins, 0-0. 1:57 remaining in the first half of play. Kevin Mack has outgained the entire Redskin team, nearly 2-1, 54 yards to 27. He's on the sideline here. Blitz comes. Kozar gets rid of it, and the Browns have another first down. The reception made by Reggie Langhorne. It goes for 10 yards, and he's to the 40 of the Redskins. Barry Wilburn stopped Langhorne after he picked up 10.
Oh, I like Coach Schottenheimer's call that time, Tom. He saw the blitz coming, so he had to pass play on a quick one to Langhorne. He's not afraid to throw the ball. Of course, in that situation, he had second and less than the yard. He probably figured he could come back and get it on third down if the ball were incomplete anyway.
Langhorne has made 3 receptions for 39 yards. Clock continues to tick away. Remember, Kozar used 1 timeout in the first half when he was about to be caught by the 45-second clock. Again the blitz, and again Kozar unloads it. It'll be incomplete, but he got rid of it and avoided the 5th sack of the day. Brian Brennan was the intended receiver, and Manley was closing in on Kozar.
Well, this is the thing. You don't have to get credited for a sack, but if you can hurry the quarterback, force him to throw when he doesn't want to, right here, well, more times than not, that ball is going to be incomplete, and Kozar is going to start to feel that pain that Manley is administering in that 4th quarter and the 3rd quarter. The more times you hit that quarterback, I tell you, the less effective he's going to be that second half.
2nd and 10 for the Browns. Ball at the 40-yard line of the Redskins. Draw play. Byner inside the 30. He's got a Cleveland first down. Wilbur Marshall finally smelled the play and stopped him, but the draw to Byner goes for good yardage. And Cleveland takes a timeout, stopping the clock with 1:02 left in the half. Stay with us at halftime. We'll be going back to NFL Live with Bob Costas, Ahmad Rashad, Gail Gardner, and Frank DeFord, bringing you up to date on all the scores and giving you the highlights. And Frank DeFord is going to have a halftime feature regarding that home field advantage, Buffalo or Cincinnati, that you were talking about earlier, Joe, and could be very significant. And I think a lot of teams are worrying about having to go to Buffalo to play late in the year.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether they're worried so much about that weather at Buffalo or they're worried about the Buffalo defense. I'd be more concerned with that Buffalo football team than I would the weather.
Big disparity in first downs, as you saw, in favor of the Browns, who have one here at the Redskin 28. Kosar complete. Right across the middle to the 25-yard line. Brian Brennan got only 3 on the pass completion, as the clock ticks down inside 50 seconds. They don't seem to be in a great hurry. Kosar swings it to Byner. Byner out of bounds. He stops the clock. I think he's short of the first down. He got 5 yards. Alvin Walton made sure Byner went out, but it stops the clock with 34 ticks left.
Ernest Byner was leading the team in rushing and pass receiving coming into the game. And hey, Tom, I have to do it. You know, he wanted me to say happy birthday to his 6-year-old daughter, Samira. She's at home with his wife, Tina, and his other daughter, Adrian Monique. So Ernest sends his love and says, happy birthday, Samira.
34 seconds left in the half. 3rd and 2. That was a nice little Thanksgiving message. Kosar almost fumbled the ball, and then he just kills the clock. Kosar fumbled the exchange. The ball probably wet, and he saw that the pressure was moving in on him and just threw it to the ground to kill the clock, which is legal.
Yeah, but it's not legal once you start to drop back and pass. No, this should not be a clock play. It's not a clock play, and it could be intentional grounding very easily. You have to clearly start throwing that ball in the ground as soon as you get it from your center, 1 step. Otherwise, it's an attempted pass.
So once you're backpedaling to get into the pocket, it is intentional grounding. Well, not called, so Barr is on to attempt a field goal from 37 yards. He missed a 37-yarder in the first quarter. But this one is good. So Matt Barr hits from 37 yards for the first points of the game, and it comes with 27 seconds remaining. There is a flag down.
Number 28.
Offside against the Redskins, so the points stand.
Well, it gives them a first down. Now, I would be a little bit greedy myself with a quarterback like Kosar and 27 seconds left to work. I'd take the penalty and try and give it a couple more shots. If I have a young quarterback, maybe like Rippon in this situation, I might go ahead and keep the field goal.
I think Marty Schottenheimer said, no, we'll leave the points up on the board.
He might be thinking about what happened last week or the week before when they didn't get those 3 points at the end of the first half.
And maybe thinking about a wet football and so on and not wanting to risk it. So he leaves the 3 points on the board, and the Browns have the first lead of the game with 27 seconds left in the first half. Let's see Bernie Kosar kill the clock again. And is this a legal play or not, Joe?
Well, it's a judgment call. It's my interpretation that he needs to start throwing the ball into the ground as soon as he gets possession of it. You look at it here, he's looking downfield. He is not intentionally stopping the clock to start with. Now, you're supposed to do that right away. When you get the ball, you have to give indication right away that it's the clock play. You want to stop the pass. He was looking downfield.
It turns into a field goal for the Cleveland Browns, however. And so Cleveland bidding for its first shutout of a team in the first half this season. They've done it 6 times in the second half, but never have they shut out a team in the first half this season.
You know, I always like to see a team perform well in the second half. That tells me that they can either have their backs against the wall or a lead, but they come out in the second half fighting. It shows me good coaching, too. Coaching at halftime and making adjustments on how to stop the opposition or move the ball yourself in the second half. Second half stats I like.
Barr's kickoff, squibs downfield. Sanders picks it up on the hop at the 5-yard line. Trying to get to the outside, then cuts back and takes it just short of the 30. Finally stopped by Weathers. It went for 24 yards by Ricky Sanders on the return. 22 seconds left, and the Browns should be used to this kind of weather. This is the same sort of weather they faced in Cleveland against the Steelers a week ago.
Yep. You know, right now with 22 seconds left, they probably won't go for the long ball with the kind of spectacular receivers that Washington has. I'd be tempted to go deep. Cleveland doesn't have the timeouts left. Even if they intercept the ball downfield, Cleveland won't be able to get in field goal position, so I'd like to see him go deep.
Instead, they hand off. Well, the fans didn't agree either.
I'm glad to hear that someone else doesn't agree with me. I mean, or at least with the coaching system.
You know, you're 0 for 2. You didn't think Schottenheimer would take the field goal either. I hate to point that out to you.
Hey, I want to point something else out. Did Washington just call a timeout?
Why would they run the ball and then stop the clock with a timeout?
Oh, boy, they know more about it than we do, Tom, and I'm afraid they know something I don't know. I would have been trying to get over top on that first play. I guess maybe he was looking to break the run and then use up some of the time and come back with the long bomb. I'm really not sure.
Doesn't make much sense. The Redskins are one of the worst rushing teams in the NFL, 24th, and they haven't been able to rush the ball successfully today. They rush it and then call a timeout.
Well, even today they've had to shuffle that offensive line around again. Before this game they had 5 different lineups. Today they've had to shuffle it. It's inconsistent offensive line play.
20th play of the first half. Coming up for the Redskins. And maybe the final one. Rippon does go deep. And it is intercepted. Intercepted by Minifield. He tried to lateral it. I don't know if they're going to allow that or not. They're going to mark it down. But the interception was made by Frank Minifield. That is his 4th interception of the season.
Well, I'm glad to see they went for it anyway. They had a one-on-one situation. Minifield made the play. One of the best corners in the league, if not the very best cornerback, number 31. Coach Schottenheimer says he's having a terrific year. Right now, he's step for step all the way with Young, or rather with Sanders. And he just beats him to the ball. A good play by Frank Minifield.
Then he tried to lateral it.
He wants to lateral it. He wants to get a touchdown going.
Great play by Frank Minifield. First turnover of the game goes Cleveland's way. Just 2 seconds left. And they'll kill the clock. So the Cleveland Browns come up with a field goal with 27 seconds left in the half to take a 3-0 lead in the rain at RFK Stadium. And as we come to the end of the first half, the score: Cleveland 3, Washington 0. Now let's go to NFL Live for halftime activities.